Hello. Today, I would like to tell you a story. A story about honor, perseverance, conviction, sacrifice, and responsibility. There have been many who have taken up the mantle as torchbearer, to avengers of the golden age, to defenders of the last city of soul. Powerful leaders such as Saint 14, Osiris, Akora, Saladin Forge, Banshee 44, Cade 6, and even Zavula. Today's story isn't about none of these guardians. Today's story is about a guardian who rose up with the first 1,000 light bearers to stop the advances of darkness in the form of Crota. A guardian who helped push back the forces of the Vex that dwelled within the vault of glass. And a guardian that helped put his soul on the line to defeat the Taken King, Oryx. Today's story is about a guardian few might know the name of, but after I give you the knowledge of his sacrifice, maybe his name might go on with you. His name is Lightnin. Lightnin, the title. It was a warm spring evening. The sun was just starting to set over the horizon. A woman calls out to her son from a window of a gated torn shack. "Eldon, I'm home. It's time to come inside." Her son Eldon peeks his head from around a tree not too far from his gated home. He replies, Not yet, Mom. I hear something beeping inside the dirt." "I think I almost found it," the boy shouted with excitement. Beeping in the dirt? The mother wondered to herself. The boy, so eager to see what he had found, ignoring his mother's message to come inside, continued to dig, unaware he was being watched from scavengers of a group of fallen. The boy can hear beep, 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 louder and louder as he digs deeper. The mother comes to check and investigates where her son is excavating for. She looks for him in the wide 7 feet deep hole he had made. She finally hears the beeping for herself and sees her son crouched down pulling something from out the dirt inside the ditch her son had dug. "Mom, look!" Eldon yells up to his mother, holding in his hand something silver with many different angles. It was an unactive ghost. She quickly realized. But so close to our home? Why? She thought. The mother takes a moment to look around. When she does, she sees hidden in the trees the creatures that call themselves Fallen. The mother screams out to her son, "Eldon, get out of that hole, now!" The Fallen descend from the positions from the top of the branches hidden at the top of the trees. Blasters point at the mother and her son, Eldon, still in the ditch. In surprise, Eldon yells out to his mother. Fear for her son takes over the mother, pushing her forward in the direction of her son. She yells with grief in her voice, "Stay away from him!" As she lunges for her son in the ditch, one of the creatures shoots her in the shoulder. She screams out in pain. Eldon screaming out for his mother as he climbs out the ditch he had made for himself. One of the Fallen quickly snatches Eldon up by his throat and begins to slam him to the floor violently. The boy, stiffened with pain, lies on the ground with the creature towering over him. Eldon squeezes out with little breath he has left in his body. "Mommy!" The boy's mother is dragged on the floor by her hair, by what it seems to be the biggest and the leader of the group of Fallen. The boy's mother tries to resist, but is quickly pummeled by the leader of creatures. Eldon looks on in horror. "Stop!" the boy screamed and demanded. But the fallen were savages, only bent on taking what they considered theirs. When the leader was done brutalizing the boy's mother, he faced the boy, aimed the blast at Eldian's mother's head, and held his hand out to Eldian. Eldian looked on at his mother on the ground, bloodied and beaten. She lifted her head up to see if her son was okay. She told him with little strength she had left, everything would be okay. I'll handle this. Eldian pleaded with the leader of the fallen. "Please, I'll do whatever you want, just please." The leader of creatures walked up to Eldian and held his hand out and spoke a language Eldian could understand. The leader picked Eldian up by his throat once more and dug through that boy's dirty red jacket. As the mother tried to rise herself from the ground, she screamed out, "Leave my son alone!" Just as she finished her cry for her son, the leader of the creatures did it. Using 2 arms, still choking the boy, the leader faced the boy's mother, used his additional 2 arms to aim his gun and shoot the mother in the heart just before she finished her scream for her son to be left alone. The boy, still being choked, looked on in agony as his mother collapsed to the floor. As the boy tried to scream for his mother, the creature finds the dead ghost and tosses the boy to the ground. The boy, with tears streaming down his face, crawls to his poor mother. He calls out to her to wake. "Please, wake up, Mom! Please!" She stares up at him, and then the light fades from her eyes. The boy stares back at the leader of Fallen as his group gathers around him in glee over the dead ghost they just scavenged from the young boy. He screams out, "You bastards, you monsters! What have you done?" As he stares on with rage, filling his eyes, the group closes in on him and begin to beat him with the handles of their weapons. The beating goes on until the sun falls completely. When they're done, the leader stands over Eldian with his gun pointed straight between the boy's eyes. When suddenly you hear the sound of what seems like hammers striking metal. The leader turns around to see what is approaching them, but it was already too late. Burning, flaming hammers of light were being sent flying in the direction of the group of fallen, disintegrating a few of them on the spot before they could even react. The leader of fallen had yelled out something that seemed like to be "Else Vados Kadi," but his team dispersed, overwhelmed at the force that was coming their way. Along with the leader, once he's seen, he stood no chance either. Leaving Eldian half dead on the ground, just before he falls unconscious, he views a glimpse of the person who just saved his life. He sees someone with bright burning light fading from their body. This person bore bright orange and white coloring, with something sticking out of the helmet. A horn? The person who had saved Eldian was none other than Lord Shax. Back when he was a warlord, before he was the person that saw over what we call today the Crucible. Eldon awoken to find himself in the medical ward. He had stitches and bandages all over him. He tried to get himself up, but he was still in too much pain. A medic entered the room and stated that his vitals were rising, so he came to see if he was awake. Eldon immediately asked for where was his mother and where was he. The medic replied, "You're in the domain of Lord Shax, and that he should remain calm." Eldon demanded to know where his mother was. "What have you done with her?" he yelled. Just as Eldon was going to collect his strength to leave the ward, he hears, "Everyone dies. What matters is what you do afterwards." Lord Shax enters his medical ward. Eldon looks on in awe of the Titan, and after a moment asks, "What does that mean? Where's my mother?" "It means your mother has passed away as of last week when I saved you," Lord Shax answers with resolve in his voice. 1 month passes by. It's early in the morning. Eldon healed up from his injuries and is in Lord Shax's training court with swords that Shax has given him to learn how to defend himself with. Shax takes his time walking onto the court to speak with Eldon, seeing him so focused on training. "So, do you really believe you're ready to take on the Fallen?" Shax asks Eldon. "I'll have to be, Lord Shax," Eldon exclaims. "It's only been a month. You have not required the skill or the knowledge to..." Eldon interrupts Shax. "It doesn't matter. This is what I live for now. I appreciate you, everything you've done for me, but I think it's time I take my leave. I must not let my resolve weaken here. I must stay focused. That group of murderous monsters that killed my mother will be leaving the area soon. I must catch them before they do." "I would go with you, but there's far too much happening right now for me to leave my domain unsupervised." "I'm sorry, young one," Lord Shax apologized. "It's fine. I know the Battle of Warlords demands your attention. And besides, this is my fight," Eldon replied. "You're only 16, Eldon," Lord Shax pleaded with the boy. "Yeah, and I've already suffered so much that I could never clean the taste of revenge from my mouth," Eldon replied. Eldon leaves the domain of Shax shortly after that and spends some time locating the group of Fallen responsible for the death of his mother. In this time, Eldon acquires comrades along his way, comrades that have been afflicted by the arrival of the Fallen as well. Eldon and his team combat the murderous group of Fallen on a number of occasions over the course of 2 years or so, and finally, in the middle of the Cosmic Drone, his last battle with the Fallen would see him on a sabotage mission. Eldon would sacrifice his life that day to stop the leader of the Fallen savages who had murdered so many from leaving Earth. Their battle was fierce, with both sides knowing this was the end for whomever lost. With his back against the wall and all his comrades killed, and the enemy closing in on him, he only saw one option. Eldon plunged his sword into the controls, destroying the maneuvering equipment, crashing them with a roar back into the middle of the Cosmic Drone, where Eldon would meet his fate, happily taking the Fallen leader with him. But years later,